currently 8:20 in the morning, an hour later than I usually record. However, I didn't have to get up early in the morning to do my normal shenanigans. So I'm just straight onto the gym, which is good. I like that. I had to get some gas afterwards, though. But man, what a fucking week last week. Very busy. Hardly had any time to edit my videos. Managed to get some videos edited last night and the day prior, which I'm happy about. So I'm back on track in that regard. I'm going to try to readjust my upload time. By the time, today, there'll be a video released later than 12 p.m. So I've been releasing them at 12 p.m. So I want to see about releasing them a little later. And see how they do then. As far as just the views. I mean, this channel is mostly just for me to document my weight loss and document me going to the gym and stuff like that, and how that all looks and how that all acts and things of that sort. But I still like to reach a few people if possible, maybe inspire a couple of people. That's really what I want to be able to do, just to inspire a few people who maybe going through the similar types of things that I am, as far as my struggle with weight loss, weight fluctuations, things of that sort. Maybe shed some light on for those people, so that way they don't seem too discouraged, or they don't get too discouraged when it comes to losing weight and stuff of that sort. Yeah, today's supposed to be an upper body day. Same type of shenanigans as per usual. By the time I get there and everything, hopefully I'm gonna be. I feel a little tired right now, but hopefully I'll be a bit more awake by the time I get there. That's what I'm hoping for. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to talk about in this intro. Just wanted to give a brief little update and just talk a little bit, and just yeah, see where that goes and everything. So, like I said, we're heading on over to the gym at the moment. I'm going to smash some sets out here in the early morning. And let's get right to it. See you at the gym. We just got to the gym. I'm going to be starting on the isolateral wide pull downs. We'll be doing 95 on each arm, doing a little bit of progressive overload, or a 185. 190 total, 95 pounds on each arm. Last week we did 90 pounds on each arm, so just going up 5 pounds. Hopefully that'll not be too much, and hopefully I'll be able to get a decent amount out on the amount of sets I can do with this. So yeah, let's get right to this exercise. finished with the lateral pull downs. We're moving on to the isolateral wide chest. Moving up to 65 pounds this week instead of 62 and a half. Just doing a little bit of progressive overload. I'm not trying to go too far at the moment. Maybe later in the week I'll get it up to 70 pounds on each arm. So it's 130 in total right now. And then next upper body day, which will be on Thursday, will be 140 pounds in total. So I'm just gonna try to slowly increase that, not trying to go too fucking fast. That can lead to no good, and I'll just have to probably get up and unload this fucking thing a lot quicker anyway. So, yeah, 10 sets of 10, 65 pounds on each arm. Let's see how this goes. To do all 10 sets at 130 pounds, 65 on each arm, with the isolateral wide chest machine. We're moving on to dumbbell curls. It's more aptly concentration curls because of the way I stabilize myself. We'll be trying to do 5 sets or 6 sets of 10 at 40 pounds this week. Emphasis on try. I may shit myself before and then have to switch down to 35. That's okay. Progressive overload and all that. So, yeah, let's get started. Let's see how this fucking goes. So we just finished our dumbbell curls. Only got through 6. I almost had to stop on the 5th and 6th set with the 40-pound dumbbell curls, but pushed through and just let the partial reps take place. So like, fuck it. And then afterwards, I couldn't do 40s anymore. I had to switch down to 35. I managed to get through that. I had to do partial reps at the end of my 35s because the 40s just kind of wore my biceps out. But that's good. That's what we want. That's the desired effect. Moving on to rear delt flies as usual. I'll record this one, but we'll be going to go up to 35 pounds on each arm this time, total of 70, and see how that feels. Last time I was able to do 10 sets of 10 at 30 pounds on each arm. Not bad at all. And I feel like I can go up a little bit higher and see how those rear delt flies feel. If I need to drop down, I'll let you know. But yeah, let's get to it. So just finished all 10 sets of my rear delt flies at 35 pounds on each arm. Moving on to tricep extensions, gonna up it to 55 pounds this week. I'm gonna try to do as many sets as I can today. Hopefully gonna be able to get through at least 5. And then maybe have to drop down to 50 pounds for the remaining 5. Ideally I'd get all 10 sets done, but we'll see. If I can only do 5 today, hopefully I'll be able to do 10 on Thursday. Or at least that's the idea. So anyway, let's go ahead and get these tricep extensions finished. So we just finished up the tricep extensions, managed to get 8 sets of 10 done at 55. The 8th set was just partial reps almost entirely. The following 2 sets, 9 and 10, that ended up being at 50 pounds, and the 10th set was also partial reps. So pretty much capped out my triceps as much as I'd like to with these weights and everything. We're moving on to shrugs. Going to be going up to 55 today. Hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to drop down to 50, but it's very possible. It's very possible. So 10 sets of 10. Hopefully be able to get as many sets as possible. I'm aiming for 6, but if I can go more with the 55s, with the shrugs, I'll be happy. So let's get going. managed to get through all 10 sets of 10 reps with the shrugs at 55 on each arm. It was rough towards the end. Almost had to do partials, but managed to just squeak through the last couple of reps, so that's okay. Moving on to lateral shoulder raises. Going to stick to 25 because last week I had to drop down to 20. Going to see if I can't do all 10 sets at 25. Lateral shoulder raise is always one of the roughest exercises to do. So let's see if I can keep all 10 sets of 10 with 25 pounds. Let's get going.
Is a very unstable situation on the ground that is unfolding very quickly.
Move toward more ideas that will actually help bring this thing to an end.
Managed to only do 4 sets of 10 with the 25s with the lateral raises, which is about what I did last time I did 5 sets of 10, so it is a little bit of a downgrade, but you know, it is what it is. We're gonna try to do more this coming Thursday. You know, it is what it is. So moving on, we're gonna do reverse curls and wrist flexions and forearm curls. I'm gonna try to do all that at 30 pounds. I know I could do the wrist flexions and the forearm curls at 30 pounds because I did it in between my bicep curls or dumbbell curls. But hopefully I'll be able to do them as reverse curls for 10 sets of 10. If not, drop down to 25. You'll see if I drop down. So let's get going. managed to max out my forearms with the reverse curls and wrist flexions and forearm curls. Hopefully the cable row will go good. God, I hope it goes good, because this always tears up my forearms, especially because I just got off of fucking my forearms all the way up. So hopefully this will go well. But we're going to be doing 80 pounds today. We'll be going up on each arm, 10 sets of 10, as per usual. So hopefully this goes well. Let's get going. Session towards the end, after the cable rows. Jesus, I had like the fucking worst brain fart ever. Got a good workout in today. I'm pretty happy with it. Weighed in at 303, which is nice. I mean, what more can I say? I'm happy with the workout. I'm happy with the weigh-in. Hoping to see it go lower. We'll see. But, there's something I wanted to mention about. So, one thing I thought about a little bit in the gym locker room and in the shower is, if this channel ever takes off to any kind of significant degree where I'm making any kind of money that is like notable, other than making sure that I'm fine and that my family is fine and everything, I'd want to research like charities I can donate to that actually do things, right? And not just charities that like want my money and won't do anything with it, or the things that do with it are negligible at best. Things that would namely help like the poor people out there, the people who struggle. Any type of thing that does with like health and fitness, I suppose, would be a good one. Music, that's another good one. And I've always told myself, anyone I've ever talked to about this, if I were to ever win something like a lottery, like a big lottery, what I'd want to do, obviously buy the things that I'd like, that that I've always dreamt of having. But beyond that, I would want to put money into a lot of money into several different types of things that pay out in dividends, and then take half of the dividends and put every year and put it towards, or every quarter or whatever, take half of it, put it into a checkings account or a savings account, and then put the other one into charities. Deliver the money and the funds to various charities of my choosing, and just try to help people out. I think that's especially in this day and age where we are so just kind of screwed. It feels like economically screwed. know. Financial literacy isn't really, financial literacy isn't all that prevalent these days. Then even if you have financial literacy, the worst part of it all is that everything is so expensive, it just makes it hard for a lot of people to live, hard for a lot of people to get by, just because rent's gone up, mortgage has gone up, the cost of groceries, clothes, and various other things have all gone up. Not the Costco hot dog meal. That has still stayed the same as far as I know. But everything else has just gone up. And so, you have people like Mr. Beast out there trying to do their best to be, do their philanthropy work. And I think that's a great thing to do. And if I was ever in a position like that, I'd want to do something similar. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love my expensive things. A lot of the hobbies I have are expensive. It just is what it is. I like playing the saxophone. I like playing guitar, bass, and stuff like that. So those things are, expensive. Especially the brands that I really like. As far as saxophones are concerned, like Cannonball and the nicer Yamahas out there and stuff of that sort. As far as guitars and basses, Kiesel, Mayonnaise, Tom Anderson, Sir, Strandberg, those type of brands. Those cost quite a bit of money, and then so on and so forth. I like cars. I like cool cars. Like one of my dream cars is like a Porsche GT3 RS and a Ford GT. I would love to have an Lexus LFA or a LaFerrari, things of that sort. And those are very pricey. And I'd like to have like a custom built house on like a nice piece of land. So all the stuff that I'd want. That stuff, like if I had like buku money, all that stuff is like tens of millions of dollars, right? Tens of millions of dollars. But in the face of something like, a giant, like hundreds of millions of dollar lottery, or even more than that, like $1 billion or more dollar lottery, I would be able to get all the stuff I'd want and still help people out. I'd be able to make sure that my family's fine. That they're taken care of. I'd be able to afford the things I've always dreamt of owning, and just having. And not to say that any of these things, not to say that any of these things are necessary by any means necessary. Right? They're not needed. They're just things I want. Right? If I had the money, I would get them. But beyond that, I'd still want to help out a lot of people because I have experienced, I've experienced times in my life where it was kind of, the pickings were slim. My father, my late father, God rest his soul, he had to work his fucking bollocks off, as they say in Britain. He had to work his ass off, as they say over here, to provide. And, there was times where sometimes, we just didn't have a whole lot of food, right? And I'm talking substantial food and stuff like that. And the stuff we did have was cheaper stuff. And sometimes we didn't even have that, right? There was times like that. And, it's rough. It really is rough. Going through the struggle meals and stuff like that. So I've always grown up kind of in the, I would say, the higher end of being poor, maybe the lower end of being middle class, maybe. That was kind of like the range we went through, depending on the work and the amount of money my dad was able to make. So, I completely understand how it can get, and I'm sure, from what my understanding is, it can only get worse, right? It's just one of the things, like I said, if a channel like this took off in any capacity, I want to obviously make sure me and my family are completely fine, but beyond that, I want to give money to organizations or people or stuff like that I know that can do some good, because especially now, more than ever. Now more than ever, we need to stick together, just as a group of people. We need to stick together and really try to help one another out. Because like I said, more than ever, we are in probably the worst state economically that most of, maybe all of our generations have ever been in. At least since the inception of the Industrial Revolution and a little past that, or maybe not then, but probably since like after World War II. Since then, we've been in one of the worst economical states, and like it doesn't look like it's getting any better. And you hear all this stuff about all these people out there struggling and stuff, and maybe it's just because it's amplified by the internet. I don't know. I do know, obviously a bit of history as far as like things like the Great Depression and the various recessions we have had over the years and all this other stuff. And a lot of the economic state, it doesn't matter what is to blame at the moment. Because we could point fingers all day long. It could be this, it could be that, it could be him, it could be her, it could be whatever. That's still, just because we know what the root cause is, it doesn't change the state that we're in. And it doesn't change that people still need help. So, like I said, I'm not exactly, right now, I'm not exactly in a position to go around and act like a philanthropist. I can't really do that. Because I don't make enough money to be able to sustainably take care of my family, myself, and go do that. It's just not feasible. So, as a result of that, if I get more money through any means, whether it be, work, a YouTube channel, lottery, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. If I come into a lot of money, once I'm comfortable, and I know that I'm going to be good, I'd love to be able to help other people out, And it's one of those things where I do have to emphasize, a lot of people are mistaken about some things when it comes to giving money away. You should never give money away unless your house is in order. If your house is not in order, and you go off and you're giving money away, that's not going to do you or the people you've given money any good. Because it's one of those things where unless your affairs are in order, unless you are completely fine to give away money, you're going to end up in a position where you're going to be the person who needs to have help as well. And it just becomes a cycle, right? And don't get me wrong, your generosity and your big heart is noted. I'm sure, I wish I was that kind of person where I could, just reasonably, or I could just like justify giving my money away despite not having as much as I would like, or not being in a comfortable enough position to do so. Because that really is one of those things where you just give the shirt off your back to help somebody else. And, it's undeniable that you are a kind person. But I do believe that you should have your affairs in order first before you try to help someone else. You can't go helping other people if you need help yourself, or if helping the other person is going to put you in a position of needing help. That's just my theory, or the way I see it. So, I know this ending bit had nothing to do with the gym, really, except for the very intro. But I felt it was necessary to talk about, because I do, other than losing weight and doing a weight loss journey, for those of you who even watched this end bit, despite the poor audio of me driving, I get it, I understand. Maybe one day I'll have a better mic or something like that I can attach to me, or whatever, get a lavalier or something. Excuse me. But I do want to spread a message of positivity, trying to be uplifting with one another, and just trying to be an overall good person. I know there's tons of people out there who do it, who, maybe some of you can get a little sick of hearing it, but I do think that more people trying to spread it and talk about a bit repetitious. And it can end up being like something that you're hearing ad nauseum. But I will say that it's just one of those things where it's better to have an excess than a drought of it, right? So, if you're ever in a position financially, and I'm talking actually in a position financially, to go help somebody or donate to an organization, I would consider doing so. Budget your finances and figure out if it is even feasible before you even decide to make a commitment like that, and then go do it. Doesn't matter how much. $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $100, $1,000, $10,000, doesn't matter. Every fucking penny helps. You got to look at it that way. If you're able to comfortably only donate $10, and that is the max you can do comfortably, and you want to donate, go donate. Go donate that $10. Don't be ashamed, right? You got to think about it this way. Not every fucking donation needs to be $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, right? If 1,000 people donated $10, that's $10,000, right? And that's $10,000 that could be going to something good, depending on the charity. Obviously, research that shit before you decide to do it. But it's one of those things where it's just a good thing to do. And even if you don't want to donate to charity, maybe you know of some local people who can use some help. People who may be homeless, people who may not be homeless, but still are struggling really hard. Just helping them out and just showing an ounce of humanity can really go a long way for somebody. Because sometimes that ounce of humanity is really what somebody needs. Being shown that kindness. Because we live in a cruel and unforgiving world. One where the actions you take will have severe consequences, good or bad. And in some cases, some people are dealt with such a bad hand that it doesn't matter what you do, you're just screwed. So, I think it's a good thing to try to show a bit of humanity and kindness to those around us, to try to inspire them a little bit, make them believe in things, because sometimes that little bit could be something that drives someone to continue on for a little longer, something that helps them, that makes them happy. You can make their day, their week, maybe even their month or year, stuff like that. Doing it thanklessly. So doing it thanklessly is probably the best way to go about it. Okay? So, anyway, I'm not going to take up more of your time. My phone won't let me anyway. It's saying it's overheating because the fucking sun's beaming down on it. But, point remains. Just try to be a good person and do what you can. And make sure your affairs are in order before you try helping anyone else. Thanks for watching. Now let's move on to the stat screen.